Some stars burn half as long, but twice as bright. Before today's video, I'd like to take a moment of silence and keep Charlie Kirk's family and loved ones in our hearts. Scott Jennings appeared earlier today on The Arena with Casey Hunt. While on the air, the news that Charlie Kirk passed was relayed to the studio, and we have Scott Jennings' immediate reaction. I thought you'd all like to see it.
Our Scott Jennings. Scott, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss. I know this is somebody that you knew. What are your reflections on his life, his legacy in this moment?
Well, Charlie was one of the most unique and special people in the conservative movement today. What he was able to build, the people he was able to organize, was just so large and powerful. He was able to convince people to get involved in politics that might not have otherwise done so. When you look at what he did on these campuses and in these public events, thousands of people were showing up, not for a rock concert, not for a sporting event, but for American politics. He inspired all these kids to be involved in their country. This is unequivocally a good legacy. He was also a godly person. He spoke about his faith openly. He was unapologetic about his views. I think what's been said about Charlie having his hand on the finger on the pulse of the MAGA base is true. But what's also true is that he was enormously influential in that when an issue was emerging, when something was happening and people were sorting out their own views on it, how should I feel about this? Charlie was one of the first people they turned to see, where's Charlie going to be on this issue? And how's he processing it? How's he analyzing it? And how does he think the young conservative should view whatever the issue happened to be? So it wasn't that he was just reflecting people. He was leading people. He was influencing people. When he did something, when he said something, when he took a stand on an issue, you can bet that people would move. And so what he did to organize these young kids, to bring conservative values and views into public spaces that aren't normally thought of as places where conservatives would gather, was enormously courageous. It took a lot of damn guts to do it. And we'll never forget Charlie for being that next generation of conservative leader, rallying people when you might not have thought it was cool to do so, but he did it anyway. And he made it cool. And he made it, honestly, Charlie Kirk was a destination for a lot of young conservatives, and
Well,
we're going to miss him.
I obviously echo everything Scott said. I don't have a lot to add right now. I'll wait till the end. Here's a little bit more of Scott discussing Charlie Kirk as a man.
Scott, I mean, one thing, it's worth just noting how young he was. I mean, he started this organization back in 2012. He was 18 years old.
Yeah.
He's 31 today. I mean, I think the Trump people at the beginning sort of raised an eyebrow. They thought, this kid, like, what does he know? Yeah. And he showed them all that he actually had what you are talking about. He had something.
He did. He had a charisma, and he had an ability to make politics engaging for that audience. He took something that some young people might find to be boring or out of reach, and he made it relevant and interesting for them. And once he had them, and once they were involved, he had then this ability to motivate them to do something with that. If you've ever been to one of these Turning Point USA rallies, I went to the one in Tampa just a few weeks ago, and I was honored. He invited me to speak there. It was the first time I had done so. And it's just arena full of young people. Some are in college, some are in high school, some are just young adults. And their enthusiasm and zeal for the future of our country and how you change it for the better, and how they arrived at that was so inspiring. The way they arrived at it was because they were inspired by someone who knew how to use his voice, knew how to engage in debate and political rhetoric. What he was doing was the opposite of what's happened to Charlie. You know, what's happened to him is violent, but he was using his words and his speech, which is our first protected freedom in this country. And so we're going to miss Charlie, and we pray for his wife and those babies. He leaves behind a young family. You know, people like this who exist in the public sphere, we know them as public actors, and we see them in front of crowds, and we see them on TV, and we hear them on the radio. But they go home at night too, and they open a front door, and they hug a wife, and they hug children, and they put them down, and they oversee the toothbrushing and everything just like the rest of us. And so there's that side of them that we don't often think about, but Charlie was doing that too. So I just think in moments like this, it's easy to analyze the politics, but you know, there was Charlie the husband and Charlie the father, and he'll be missed forever.
Since we've just learned of this, I think it's absolutely appropriate that we're talking about Charlie Kirk the man. But Scott, how do you think we can go on from this in a way that doesn't get uglier and uglier?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we all start to ask these questions in the aftermath of something. We had a lot of these conversations after President Trump was nearly assassinated. We had a presidential election. The people voted. It's sort of the beauty of America. We've always endured and persevered through even dark moments like this one. You know, I think there are a lot of people, though, who have given up on politics and have turned their hearts to violence. And one of the legacies of Charlie, in my opinion, is that politics is good. Politics is speaking to each other. Politics is conservatives and liberals and Republicans and Democrats debating and reasoning with each other. Maybe we don't agree, but when you walk
That's what it's supposed
into
to
a
be.
conversation and you debate and you walk away from that conversation, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Charlie was modeling that behavior. And so, you know, what's happened to Charlie? He inspired people in his life. My suspicion is his death is going to inspire the next generation of Charlie Kirks to rise up and use their voices and stand up for what they believe in. And that's a legacy. Not just that you organize something in the moment, but that it could endure for a long period of time.
You know, at this point, and of course, our hearts are with Charlie Kirk and his family at this time.
Yeah, I was really touched by what Scott Jennings said, and brought up different emotions in me. But I gotta say, I know the bar is very low for CNN. We don't expect much from them, but whether it was real or it was fake, I felt like Casey Hunt really showed her humanity there. It seemed like someone talking to a friend that lost someone close to them. And like I said, if it's real or fake, it's nice for me to see. I even cut specifically her sign off at the end because it seemed heartfelt. Today's not a day where I want to point out all the things everybody does wrong. Like I said, I don't really want to say much. It's not easy answering questions and staying strong against all the hate that Charlie endured. It's brave. It's easy for someone like me to armchair quarterback and say, well, why didn't he answer this way? When I get to think about it for a while, and there aren't thousands of people hanging on every word and waiting for me to make a mistake so they can assassinate my character. I admired him for unabashedly spreading the word that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. I appreciated him as a man and how he connected with young people. We'll have plenty of time to talk about why this happened and who's to blame, and we'll politicize it, but not today for me. I'm just sad. I'd like to let those who need to mourn do so. I send my condolences to his family. I honor his memory and reflect on his impact on the conservative movement that he dedicated almost half of his much too short life to. Feel free to comment on your feelings about what happened. I'd love to hear them. My prayers are with the Kirk family. God bless America. God bless Charlie Kirk. I'll see you guys.